Greetings, everybody. How are you on this Tuesday? Yes, sorry for the few minutes of delay. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but all is well. How is everyone doing? Hey, come on in. Join me, team. Um, Today, oh my God, look at my people. Look at my community showing up. Hey, Chaz. Hey, Roselee. What's up, our guest today? How are we? Welcome, everybody, and good morning. Good morning. Greetings, everyone. My guest today is Roselee Mathu, and she is coming on right about now. And let's just give it a few minutes. So for those of you who are just hopping on, hello, Edna. Hello, my dear.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I don't know if it's my volume,
It's
but
not loud enough?
no, now you're perfect. You're perfect.
Okay.
Okay, you're perfect.
Awesome.
Greetings,
I
Rosalie.
love that hat.
Girl. Okay, so let me tell you what I've decided to do. I've decided to start, these are things that I've had, I'm putting, stock for retail and so on. So I'm pulling everything out and I'm looking for new looks because I'm rebranding and I want to start thinking about ideas of photos. And so I'm having fun. So all this get up is my daughter's work.
Oh, nice.
Okay? But
We
these
love
are,
her.
yeah, these are the hats. I had another one. She was like, "Ma, not that one." So, this is what she chose, and it is the bomb diggity.
Dot
Thank you,
com.
babies.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. As we're waiting for everybody to come on, I'm just going to introduce myself. If you are on this forum for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kirigo Kabuka. I teach people who are interested in opening up natural hair salons, what to do. And for those who don't know what to do, I'm there to assist them and coach them through it. And I also teach pre-existing entrepreneurs, natural hair entrepreneurs, to expand their businesses, whether it's virtually, retail, education, etc., just to make sure that there are other means of income, streams of income coming in. As we heard from our guests yesterday, today's guest is Roselee Mathu. Am I saying it right, Mathu?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
Mathu, and she is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia, today. And thank you so much for being with us this morning.
No problem.
I know there are other people still hopping on, but we're gonna be talking about education. She is a master trainer for Sisterlocks, the brand Sisterlocks, and of course she comes across a lot of students and things like that. So she's a great person to tell us about education impacting what you know on others, in case you're thinking about creating education for your particular hair system or salon services or anything like that. If you were to think about extending that personally, that is the love of my life is education and always learning. And today that's what we're going to talk about. So again, welcome to this forum. I created this forum so that we in the natural hair community could come together and support one another at such a time when there are no answers. Our industry is destabilized. There was no prior planning. But you could tell those who had like other plans in the midst or plan B somewhere, they're now relying on that very.
Okay, yeah,
I
you
think
had
something
frozen for a
happened.
second.
Um, yeah, but right. And as I think about also my workshops and classes that I'm offering, I put all these guests together because these are areas of the industry that I think we overlook, but we really need to incorporate that. So today we're going to get nuggets on educating yourself firstly, and then expanding and creating education for your staff and your clientele. Rosalie, before we just get started, I want to welcome you this morning. Thank you so much. Rosalie and I have never really been in the same space together, but for me, she's a sister that I turn to for sound advice, especially when it comes to education and dealing with people. Period. On a business level, on on a business level, on a as a manager and things like that. Various levels of businesses that encompass the entire umbrella of the natural hair journey. So, as usual, I'm always taking a few minutes to go silent. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we're going to jump right into you introducing yourself. Is that okay?
That's good.
All right, let's go for it. 10 seconds of silence to think about all that is going on in our world right now. Those that have lost their lives to this pandemic, those that have lost members, family members, those who are mourning, most importantly, the front line, the doctors, the nurses, and everybody in the hospitals tirelessly looking after the sick. We really lift them up today and always, and even for us, for mourning what our life was looking like and now having to deal with what is today. So we welcome you. 10 seconds of silence, and let's get the show started. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Roselee, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Roselee Mathu, and I am a master trainer, yes, for Sisterlocks. And that's how I got into business anyway, was Sisterlocks. But I am the owner of Roselee's Natural Hair Care in Atlanta, Georgia, and also the director of Stylist Excel. And Stylist Excel is it's the education aspect of Roselee's. We have salon suites, and we have mentoring, especially for people who've finished the Sisterlocks class and helping them to build their business to a place where they can quit their job. My actual passion is to help you quit your job. So if that's what you're trying to do. I've been working on lessening the time that it takes for you to get out of class and then quit your job.
I like that. I like that. And many of people have quit their job to start their own businesses. And I think this is the beauty of Sisterlocks. It's like a gift that empowers each woman, that grows her business, that receives the services and gets, total hair freedom. And that came down with a download and shared with the world, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah. So tell us what aspect, what would you say is, what do you love most about teaching, being in education?
So if I could just tell this story,
Please.
when I got Sisterlocks, I was just getting a hairstyle. First, I don't have them now, but the journey of Sisterlocks has allowed me to be here where my hair is not a thing. Like it's not anything that I think about in terms of limiting me in what I'm able to do. In fact, it gives me even more confidence to enter any space, wherever I want to go. My hair is not a thought process that I have anymore, and I credit that to Sisterlocks. So
wow.
when I got them, it was it was a hairstyle, and then some internal changes happened as a result of feeling that confidence of not thinking about, oh, I'm going here, what about my hair? Or I'm going here, what about my hair? My hair was always looking good.
Yes.
So I had time now to think about bigger things like, man, I hate this job. Like I gotta go do something else. Like what else can I do? And
Right.
in the course of spending time with my consultant and seeing her business grow and the things that she would say about it made me think, okay, this should be my exit strategy.
Wow.
So the first time I sat in a Sisterlocks class, and I've been curating some videos just to pass the time these days, like to get some content together. And I remember when I was in class, I felt like the instructors made the whole system look sexy the way that they delivered it, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yes.
So that first day in class, I was asking, how do you become a trainer? And the instructor was like, I need you to get certified first.
Baby steps.
Right.
There's a rite of passage. There's some things you need to do first. Right.
First, right. So I took that as a challenge, but then they played that video, the hair thing, and the things that she said like resonated like in my stomach. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what I don't I can't describe it, but there was something that happened like within that was
Wow.
like, this is the thing. And then when I taught my own class, like I had a bunch of students that it was just me and the students, I had that same feeling. So I just enjoyed on a level that just, it has no words, right? Um, and also when I started my business, my salon, Grey's Anatomy was big. It had just started those days.
Yes.
And Grey's Anatomy was a teaching hospital, and so I wanted my salon to be a teaching salon.
Nice.
And I was always developing a way to get from point A to point B in a predictable way, and that's just how I've tried to function, to try to get some predictability in what you're doing, because Sisterlocks is a system. You can apply systems to all things that you do.
Right. Thank you. Wow. So look at that. So you're telling me the first time you went to a training for Sisterlocks training, you were already asking how you become a master trainer. Mm-hmm. Amazing. So you, like yesterday, Simone was talking about being able to see beyond just that. So, yeah. So do you also have your own clientele, or do you just primarily teach?
No, I do. I've been working my way to just primarily teaching, but I don't think that the clientele is going to allow that. I think I'm always going to have a clientele, but I am moving more towards training. I've been doing that more in the last few years than and cutting down the clientele.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So how do you do that? How do you go from having a clientele to then reducing and shifting? There must be a strategic system where you have to sort of inform them, educate them, so that they understand and sort of cooperate. And and so, by the way, Nicole says there was a message that she sent out, but she was agreeing with. Oh, she said thank you for mentoring her.
Oh, awesome! Yes, Nicole is amazing.
Oh, good. Where is she located?
In Atlanta. She was actually we worked together last year. She quit her job. She took the class in December of 2017, and she quit her job in August. So I'm working my way to helping people quit it sooner and sooner.
Wow. So wait a second. Quit her job in how many months was that?
Well, it's less than a year. That's all.
Less than a year. Holy moly. So in order for you to quit a job, a stable income coming in, some maybe, some benefits and things like that, how rapidly did she have to grow her clientele, and how was she able to do that? How did you teach her to do that?
Well, so I like working with people with already, they already have their own vision, right? Ah. So she already had a hustle about her. She was trying to make a change, and she was willing to do what was necessary in order to get there. Yeah. So she already had a plan that I'm leaving. She just needed to know, how do you work this out, right?
Right.
And she's been in corporate for a long time, and I feel like those are people who do really well in Sisterlocks if you've been in corporate, because your thought processes are just a little different.
Correct.
So
systematic,
exactly. So there's that place where you need to think about all that your job is giving you, right? And how are you going to replace that, right? You have benefits, you have health insurance, all those kind of things. You gotta think about your how you're going to contribute to your 401k, those kind of things. So you can't just step out there and be like, yay, right?
Yeah. And she says she was working for 23 years, so that's like 2 decades. A cushion, some level of comfort. Right. For me, congratulations to you, sis, because honestly, it takes someone really courageous. There are not many that are willing to do that. In fact, they say probably even less than 20% are willing to go that hard.
Right.
How determined are you? Good for you.
Yeah. So for me, when I quit my job, I gave myself 2 years. So over time, I've seen the different ways that you can you can accelerate that. Of course, if you have a husband, you can even, you have a little different cushion. Like I had a different cushion. Yes. So if you're by yourself, you need a different cushion. So you need, there are all those things to think about before you decide, okay, I'm out.
Right. And I think that's what I like about what you're saying about is, like, you have to, what we talked about from the very beginning when these talks began, is about creating strategy and structure. So, because for me, in what I teach, I'm very detailed. I always want to know why, even like, why does that hashtag make a difference from another one? You know what I mean? Why? I'm always asking those different questions, trying to understand why in our industry, what is causing that, or why do people respond that way, right? So my question to you is, how many clients does it take for one to have in order to leave their job? Or what kind of services are you rendering in order for you to be able to support yourself enough to leave a job? Because for some people, they need to know that, to understand that, the details.
Right. So I feel like, because I can only speak for Sisterlocks, because that calculation can be a little more consistent, right?
Yes.
So I feel like once you get to about like 18, 20 clients, you're thinking about, let's say you were just working on the weekend, 18 to 20 clients, all your weekends are booked. That's the time when you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to add another day? Like, and you be strategic with it. So if you have a 9 to 5, then you add one client in the evenings and another client in the evenings and another client in the evenings. So once you get to about 24 to 30 clients, that's depending on how much you're making, because the thing is to match or exceed what it is you're getting paid. So whatever that takes is when it's, when it's time to quit, when you've put all those other benefits you were getting from your job in place. Once your business income meets or exceeds what you were making, then that's a good time to start making that decision.
Right. And let's talk about this now. Because I always want to know what causes something to be successful. I like details. What did you do and what that happened next? And because for me, it's about mapping. Okay. And this is what I do when I'm teaching, and even in my webinars, just really breaking it down for the regular person who's got a busy life, whether you're a single mom or have a family or just trying to be out here, keeping up with your bills and your clients and your business and all of that. A lot of us, we're spread out so thin that we don't look at the numbers. We don't look at how many clients I have. We don't look at what does it take to support me, and we're going to talk about that as in early May. That's a part of the business I'm going to get into, like pricing, the different types of prices, why we should price like that, and how you look at the big picture first and then bring it to the small, break it down small where you start today in order to get to that big picture. Unfortunately, we don't take enough time to do that. We just get into the business because we love it. We have a community because that's what we do, but we don't strategically plan out every little thing. And then we wonder why we're stagnant for years, why we're not getting clients, why we're stuck behind the chair, like Simone said yesterday, and can't seem to liberate ourselves, because this whole piece of running business is to be a little bit more free, not to be tied to it, you can't even develop or take good care of yourself. I'm really enjoying that. Someone said that was a good question. She liked the question I asked, she liked the question I asked about how many clients it takes. Because for me, it's always a formula. There's a definite formula to what causes you to be successful. And it's important that we look at the big picture and crunch it down. Okay. So now the other thing, let's talk about that lady as an example. Sorry, Nicole, we're gonna talk about you for a while because I just think you're a perfect example. And this applies to any business, any service business. So Nicole did the training, and then she went and sought continuous support, which is increased education. Because I want people to see how it works. Okay, the formula to success, right? So then she took more classes with you, extra training, because she had a vision to leave her job to then run this, to be a free, self-employed, independent contractor or salon owner. I'm not too sure what her goal or what she's doing right now, but she needed to do something and a level of education, increasing the knowledge in order to be able to even charge enough to be able to leave the job, to do what she loves and leave what was no longer, giving her passion. Okay. I just wanted to talk about that because when we start talking about pricing in the next couple of weeks, how you price your services and products, or how you even increase and communicate with your clients. When we start talking about that, people's relationship with money really affects how they run their businesses. And the quote that I was using last week and before that was, we can only grow, or the amount of money we make is related to how much we know about our industry or the trade that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
So if we feel that there's more money to be made, naturally we have to be educated, increase our skills, correct?
Right.
In order to then price the way you do. I know for me personally, a lot of people who probably do their mentor training with me and so on. I'm a very confident stylist, you know, and I carry myself as such. You know, I've been in this industry for many years, you know, so there is a certain kind of maturity that I have come to have, and a comfort and a self-knowledge, right? So when they come and they see how much I charge for my services, they are floored, because they can't even imagine. They don't even understand why would they pay that? And I tell them, I stay booked. I have a certain niche. My client, but the majority, I can tell you exactly, 80% of my clients are lawyers and doctors. They will drive 2-3 hours to come. Why? What is the magic? It's not so much about the work that I do with my hands, but it is the thing that I've cultivated in myself to be able to engage on a spirit, on a heart-to-heart level, you know, on a human to human, to hear one another, to support one another in whatever we're doing, you know? So where did I get that? I got that from going to all the trainings and classes, when I realized all the masters in all the industry, in the hair industry, not just in the natural hair industry, there is something that they understood about themselves that they could cultivate. So then you're no longer fearful about competition. You know, now what you're offering is value. So me knowing that I'm offering value with all the education, the training, the travel, everything that I've poured in myself to be better for you in every service that I render, you know, I'm not afraid to charge my prices.
Right.
And I will be increasing my prices as we go back, you know, without guilt.
Right.
Because what I've learned in these couple of weeks since I've been home has grown, like the growth exponentially, you know, that I have more to offer, you know, and not knowing that, and understanding, the biggest key for me has been understanding that I don't have to do that. I can sort of mentor others to grow and shine and not be fearful, pour in them what has been poured into me, so that we can grow together. And that to me is like all about community work.
That's right. So I like what you're saying right there, because once you get to a certain place in your business, you realize that there are only so many people you can do before it's ridiculous, right?
Exactly.
And I've been in a lot of ridiculous situations, because I really am just enjoying what I'm doing, right? And that whatever that thing is that your clients are coming to you for, it's good to know what that is. So there was a time when I didn't know what that was, and I had this whole setup with other stylists, right? And I had worked with them. Their work was amazing, but there was always somebody who would always say, "No, I just want you to do my hair," and I'd be
correct.
Like, what? Her work is amazing. Like, what is it, right? And one day somebody was like, "You need to pay attention. Like, pay attention to yourself. What is it about you?" Because when I was out, it would always be, it doesn't feel the same. It was about how it felt, not the work, right?
Exactly.
So what you were talking about pouring into yourself also comes out in how you deal with clients, and how you're also able to give that knowledge to somebody else, because like we were just saying, there's a place where you're maxed out, right? You can't work 7 days a week.
Correct.
So there's another magic number that says, either I need to close my books and deal with these people for now, or I need some help. And there was no option to ever close the books. It was always, who else can come up in here, because this business is designed to help someone else come up, right? And I was always trying to do that. I'm always trying to do that.
Right.
So, but some people don't see the value in having somebody do the legwork for you, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when I started out, I'd just be like, yeah, just come, you know, give me a day of the week that you're working, that you're willing to work, and
Right.
I got clients for days, right? So we're just gonna, the day you come, whatever we're working on, that's what we're working on. Let's do this, right? And only a certain kind of person would show up and do well in that environment. The other people, like I used to, I used to find like the worst situation that someone is going through, like excessive new growth, excessive slippage, and that's the work I'm giving the student, because I want you that no matter what shows up in the door,
Oh my gosh.
your face doesn't, what are you coming with, right? Anybody who comes in there, oh, great, let's sit down, let's see what we're working with, and you have a process for how you deal with the thing, even if it's going to take you several more hours, but you have a process, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, the end result is real satisfying, so that when a regular client comes through, you're like, there's no difference between the two, right? Your demeanor is the same. And so that was one thing that I learned about. Your demeanor has to do with how you feel. Like your perspective is a condition of how you are on the inside, right? So if a client is late, for me, when the client is late, it's like, oh, you made it, right? Not what the hell you been, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So there's a way that you can deal with people after you've checked yourself about what it is that you're going through. And so I read a lot. I started reading when my business was at a place I was swimming in it, right? So many clients, not enough hours in the day. My husband is like, what the heck? My children are like, you're going to work again, right? It was that place. And I was like, there must be some people who have successful businesses and successful homes. There must be, right?
Yes.
And that's how I started reading. And I found out that those people who have such lives have mastered themselves.
Hello.
Right?
Say that again. Say that again. No, really, say that again, because that is the key. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So the people who have successful businesses and successful lives, they've mastered themselves in a way that says these are my boundaries, right? In order for me to be able to give you what you came to me for, and for me to get what I'm supposed to get from my business, there's a boundary, right? And so one of the things I teach is, or I just found out to actually structure it, is before you start talking to any clients, right? You come out of class, you got this skill, right? Before you start talking to anybody, you need, what are those boundaries? You need your policies together. Like, think about those situations that you never want to be in. So you write all those down. That's never going to happen in my space. Those things that you want to encourage, what are those? You put those in your policies, or reward them somehow, right? So before you start talking to anybody, you visualize, what is this environment that I'm trying to create? You don't just jump out there, because we've all jumped out there and we've gotten a certain result. And the way that I've seen that result is when it's reflected back in the people that I mentor. So for example, if I was working 24/7, right? And then that go-getter mentee or whatever does the same thing. And then when I look at it, I'm like, that's ridiculous, but that's what you're doing, right? So now you have to be an example. If you don't want other people to do it, then you don't do it, because they're copying what you're doing.
Hello.
Right? And then it's about being aware of how you're showing up.
My goodness, such nuggets. Roselee's here joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. She's a master trainer for Sisterlocks, the trademark. So she teaches the 4-day training, and she's telling us her experiences as an educator and coming across so many people that she sort of has to pour the seed, plant a seed. You're the farmers who cultivate that soil and plant that seed, right? And so how you send your students out also matters in terms of preparing them for success. So thank you so much. And then the other thing I like is that you also mentor, and you're helping women in the Sisterlocks community to leave their jobs quicker and just become independent contractors or run their own salons. I love, love that.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, I mean, these are some great things. And for those who just hopped on and you don't know me, you're meeting me for the first time. My name is Kirigo Kubuka. I teach anybody wanting to start a natural hair business and anybody who's already has an existing hair business and is struggling. I teach you how to put things in place and grow your business and see results in 6 months. How do I know this? I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have 2 businesses, one here in the US in Owings Mills, Maryland, Lux Sister Salon and Studio 28, whoop, whoop, which is my brand, my baby, you know, natural hair journey. It encompasses education, especially this form of education for us to understand. I truly believe that education is key in our industry. If you're not putting money aside when you get paid, if you're not allocating funds for education yearly, and you know you could write that off on your taxes, please get education in your field every year, and I promise you you're able to increase prices, become more aware, inspired, re-inspired. You know, for some of us, we get tired and we're like, whatever, you know. But consistency is key, how you show up. For me, I think what you asked about showing up on time, I think there's also the other aspect. For me, how you train others how to treat you. Okay. So my sister has always asked me, how do you always get your clients to come on time? Like she was amazed, you know, she stayed with me for some time and she would see on time, but like clockwork, my clients were on time. And if they were late, they always called if they knew they were going to be late. And I get a call at least half an hour. It's the culture of the salon. You understand? It's a thing that I show. I have to show up on time in order for them to make sure that they're always showing up on time. You understand? You've got to lead by example. You know, if you're feeling some kind of way with your clients or whatever, you need to have that conversation. And sometimes it's difficult.
Right.
And if you're going to approach your client, ladies, we never stand over the client, because if you understand energy and how to exchange that energy, you need to be seated at eye level. There are things that I will teach you in my webinar and my class that will just small little things that we can add to our business that will help us exponentially in a positive direction. You understand? Doing even surveys and finding out from your clients. Some of us, now the thing about our community is that we know it all and we're always fearful about competition. We're always, you know, I've had young stylists that I'm mentoring ask me, Miss Kirigo, why are you always sharing your secrets? You know, and I was like, well, somebody had to share something with me for me to be where I am. Yes, I'm hungry and I'm always researching and going after it, but somebody had to pour something in me along the way, correct?
That's right.
Am I going to overlook that? No. So I'm going to do the same. In fact, it empowers me to empower others. That's the drive of my education, my support, you know, for you to be empowered. I pour everything. I have a roadmap for you. This is what you could do right now. This is how you could use Google. This is what you could do with Instagram, all of that, you know, all the little tricks to really shift your business within 3 months. And you will start having like dream clients to attract the kind of client that you want. Now, the other thing I've also taught my clients, I'm big. I know I use social media and it's great because I'm in the industry and I definitely want to be out there. But for me, my biggest way to attract my dream clients is to go through word of mouth. I know that level, that what I call dream client of mine, who respects me as much as I respect them, who honors and values the time that my services that I offer them and the time that we share together, you know, who I've taken my time to understand my niche, so we serve one another. You know, the environment is such that I know they have hectic lives. So my space is that you're going to escape everything and feel like you're in a safe oasis, you know. So understanding that and providing all of that, it took me time. Well, I did surveys. I actually had my clients, don't put your name on it, just you know, give me, I want feedback. I've done that several times, and each time we've done that and looked at the information, we've implemented one or two key things that we saw that were highlighted, and you always see the shift in the business, you know. Also just that connection, you know, that the level of respect that we have for each other. I just wanted to from the research that I've done, again, there's what I think, there's what research stats show, and then there is what everybody's really experiencing. So I think it's good to collect information and data from all places so that you could see where you fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So it says here, 5 steps to choosing your education as a hairstylist, okay? So that some of the things, some of us don't even think about continuous education. We're stuck because we're just behind the seat. I promise you, if you don't get out and go add more value to your services, you're not going to grow. And you have no value to offer your customers if you're not adding something new or special, okay?
Right.
So, and some of us don't want to get out of the, we're comfortable in that space,
Right.
I don't like getting comfortable. I like to be uncomfortable often, because it makes me think differently. Like even during this time, people have now, one, become entrepreneurs and no longer self-employed, right? And they have to think about their businesses, no longer in it, but on it. So congratulations, everyone. Like I've been saying, you are now officially an entrepreneur. You probably were thinking about it, but the Rona has caused you to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to just say these 5 steps. So, so let's say if you work for a brand, and Roselee, this is no offense, these are just statistics. If you work for a certain brand, then your educators and experts speak in a certain way, like there's a certain kind of lingo, and that is then generally for that brand. Okay. Now, if you continue going just to classes under the brand, we limit ourselves because we're not being expanded in what's actually happening in the hair industry as a whole. What are the latest trends? It's important for you to know what's hot this spring. Did you know that hats and so on for spring and summer, head covering is what's hot right now? This is why I'm pulling these out, and they'll be available online real soon. But but hats are in. So I'm a trend follower, or analyst. That's what it. So I'm always trying to figure out, because that also affects hairstyles. Do you know what's the latest hairstyle? For me, who does color, do you know the latest hair color that's trending right now? Do you know where to get it from? Do you have it in your shop available for when the client comes and says this is what they want? Right. How do you prepare yourself? But nonetheless, so just limiting yourself to just that one brand might not be, will limit on how much you expand or grow. Okay, right. And then don't believe the hype. It takes serious education to be able to properly. It takes serious skill to be able to properly facilitate a class and inspire a group. So kudos to you, Roselee. That is a lot of work, because you can have, like, your class sizes are how big?
The most, they're supposed to be maxed out at like 20 new students, and then sometimes you have some people refreshing. So it could be like 25, 26 people in a class.
Yeah, so people should know, don't believe the hype. It's not that easy being in your shoes, correct?
This is true, because the first time I had to train, my voice was all like I was scared.
Of course.
I was scared. But once I put myself in the situation of someone sitting in there, like, what do I, people break themselves to get to an educational opportunity. Like Sisterlocks has really shown me that people get there with a very real desire to do something else, and they feel like this is the vehicle to get there. So I can't show up all, hey, how you doing and whatnot. Yes. I have to come with that with that energy. So I always actually start off the class, the first day of class, I like to ask them why are you here? Like, what is that? And I don't want the surface thing. I want that thing that brought you here. Like, I must make this work, because once we get to the places where it's difficult, I want you to draw from that, right? And sometimes I go so far
to remember,
right? I go so far as to have them like write it down. And when they're telling me how their fingers are too fat to do whatever it is, let's pull out this piece of paper. Was this used? Is what you said that you came here to do? Right. So can we do anything about these fingers? No, we don't have to learn how to use them. Right. So just being able to get over that hump with your own oomph, right? Yes. And every day of class, I ask them, what they're grateful for, so that we start off the day with focusing on what the positive aspects are, not what's draining us.
I love it. Thank you. I do the same. You know, we have to do that, because for me, in order for me to lead, I actually ask everyone, what is your intention today? What did you come? What do you hope to take away today? You know, what caused you to leave your home and show up? You know,
Right.
so it's important for me to know from that route, and I write them down so that I make sure I cover them during my lessons. You know, it's so important, and also reminding people your why, because sometimes.
Mhm.
Real talk. Sometimes you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, we get to that point, but you
Right.
got to dust yourself off. You remember your why. Like
Yeah.
I'm rebranding because I
Yeah.
just remembered my why, you know?
Yeah.
So this time has given me an opportunity. I've been thinking about it, but I was like, there's no present time like there's no time like the present time.
Mhm.
All right. So don't believe the hype. It takes some serious skill to be able to stand in front of the class. All right. Do your research also, guys, and make sure that your educators know their stuff. Like you said, Roselee, if you walked in, if I paid over $1,000 for training and then came and you showed up, hey guys, I would want my refund immediately. I'm going to real talk. If you're not inspiring me from when you walk in, I'm always looking at your posture, the teacher's posture, how they're showing up. Sometimes do the research before you sign up for the class and make sure that you're going to get the nuggets that you paid for. Okay. Now, number 3, no educator shares their best knowledge for free. Real talk. This is why I have my class. You know, because just think about it. How much have I shared with you guys in the last 3 weeks? And that's still not everything. There are things that you could go deeper and personalize it to your industry and your vision. You know, this is what makes the difference. So even when we're out here, no matter where you go on Facebook, anybody who's always the budgetista, all of that, she's giving you some freebies, real talk, because that's going to help you. And even for you to start seeing the results, if you apply it, that is. However, you're going to have to sign up for her class in order for you to get the depth of it, right? And here's what we do. We share our best stuff for those who invest in their time and their money into our programs. So that's real talk, because I've seen huge improvements with the sisters that I've worked with, you know, just simply talking, and even in the freebies now virtually and so on, and everyone even applying it and feeling energized, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to know that we have to give a little. We have to be in the spirit of giving in order for it to come twofold. Sometimes we're like this, sometimes we're like that. No, I can't spend on an education. I can't. If you tell yourself that, then, but for me, I saved for 2 years because I was running a business and I had 2 babies. I saved for 2 years so that I could move closer to Baltimore, but pay for the hotel, come with my children, have child care while I was in class the whole time, you know? So that was the only way I found that it was going to happen. But that I had to think about it, I had to plan it, and I put it on my vision board. And when I finished, and that's the next step we're going to talk about, when I finished my training, the next week, I did my 2 installs. The week after that, I did my 3rd. So I did all 3 in 2 weeks because I had already visualized. I put systems in place. Like my girlfriend always says, Kirigo, you always talk about systems in place. But I thought it through methodically. And so by then I did my consultations the next week, and then after that I did my installations.
Right.
So I had everybody lined up. Okay, so figure out how you will move the financial investment back. How will you will return
on investment.
back.
Yes.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I really thought about it. I'm going to pay how much for this class, and I have to pay for hotel and childcare and food because I wasn't home.
Yeah.
And all the entertainment for my children with the people who were taking care of my children. You know what I mean?
All of it.
All of that. I was like, when I get out of this class, this is a whole lot. And as you see, my 3 were already lined up. They had already made they made their deposits, I did the installations, and really in, I would say, a month and a half, I had made my money back because I had put all that in place. I had already started telling my clients. My clients were like, girl, and even to get to my class, my clients were like, we'll pay for you. That's my deposit for my installation. And that's how the money started coming. I was like, and it made it possible. I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. But already plan ahead. When you're going to take a training, already know where you're going to apply it. Because sometimes we go for training, we take those books, we chuck them on a shelf, and that's all they do. They start collecting dust, and we don't get to apply any of this stuff.
That's right.
Okay. So that's it. What is it? I always tell to my students that if they are prepared to make my courses pay for themselves and beyond, if they're not able to do that, I suggest don't pay for the class. Don't waste your time. Seriously, if you're going to apply, because for me, I love results. I love feedback. Once I'm finished with you, I want to know, guess what happened? Two new clients called me. 3 new clients called me, that kind of thing. That's, or my client said this, or they accepted my new pricing. Everybody's really happy. Because there's also a system in how you do that without catching your customers by surprise,
Right.
And then the other thing, you want to at least spend at least $500 a year on education. And that means that's all you're going to do. You're going to maintain your business. If you decide to spend more, then you grow each year.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you spend anywhere between $1,500 and over, and trust me, you can write off your education in your taxes, people. So why not get educated? Why not improve? For me, my group, my accountability partners, every year we take 1 new course in whatever, whether it's breathing or exercise or whatever. So it expands us, and I could sometimes put some of those new skills into my services to set me apart.
Awesome.
So that's it. More to come. So Roselee, I want to thank you so much for today.
No problem.
You have really poured some deep hearted bits of information on things, because sometimes when we're only thinking about business and money, we forget that there's personality building and self-care and self-development and thought development, organizing your thoughts, goal setting. There's other things that we need to have done prior to being in front of a customer. And rendering services. And that's why I always say Sisterlocks is the one that taught me that if your mind ain't right, those Sisterlocks are never going to be right. No matter what you do. If it looks right today, your client's going to come complaining to you 3 months wondering what happened. And I'm telling you, that thing is real. It's like a spiritual thing.
It is.
You want to close on that before we go, sweetie?
Well, actually, I do, and I had a few notes I wanted to add in addition to the list you gave of your 5 things.
Yes.
Because it's all about perspective, right? And that's one thing that I encourage people to do in class, or when you're working with someone, have some perspective about what that person is seeing from you. Right? So there's always another way to look at things. So the first time you go to a training, you're at that entry level, that basic level. All you're there to do is find out, how do I, right? You're always thinking, how do I? And then, so I'm going to use Sisterlocks specifically. So you get there, how do I do it, right? So you go there, you learn how to do it, then you do a few clients, and all these situations come at you, and you're like, man, I don't think they covered that in class. That's the time to go to a refresher. And when you get there, now you already know how to do it. You got the basics. That's when your mind will pay attention to, oh, we did cover that. I wasn't there to pay attention to that. So that's one reason to keep going for a refresher. Because even for me, in interacting with other trainers, I learn new things to implement. And you need that I like how you talked about accountability. You need those people to sharpen you and check you that, look, you're getting stale right here. Don't you think you need to freshen it up a little bit, right? And then you want to look at when you're looking at your business, you want to look at what other industries are doing that you can apply to your business, so that it expands what you're able to do, right? One of there's a business called, you've heard of Dry Bar, right? Like Dry Bar is I love the whole concept of what they do, and I like that concept of specializing in what you're really good at, and that you enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
So all of us we know, like we come to learn Sisterlocks and you know all these other things, but you can't do everything well. So in order to get to that next level where you're able to charge certain amounts, you got to specialize, right?
Correct.
And then the final thing I really like is personal growth conferences. Because when I go to such places, you meet people, like if it's a business related one, you meet people who are like, you know, they're doing
Yes.
$1 million in revenue, but their thought process is the same as you because you guys are in the same conference, right? So you find out that it has nothing to do with, you know, your ability to make money is your ability to make money, but your ability to grow is something else. And so you need to grow from the inside.
Right.
That's just in general, just, you know, be a person who loves to learn whatever. Like lately, I've learned a lot from YouTube because I know if I'm thinking about it, somebody's thought about it already. You can start with things like that and find out where you can go to get more information.
Fantastic, fantastic. And that's so true, because when you go out to even things like the Bronner Brothers or these trade shows that are in the area, it's great. You find, like, for me, I'm always looking for like the latest water bottles and things like that. And I find a supplier, I carry that in my store, and my bottles, whatever it is, it doesn't last because I look at something new. And that's what my clients are always after. Oh, girl, this is a new style. Yeah, I want it. You know what I mean? And always looking at things that are going to be attractive to my customers, you know, to my clients, and because I'm listening, you know. So yeah, so guys, I hope you have taken away a lot today, lots of nuggets. I hope you guys are writing. Anybody who writes is the one who's always prepared to be a winner. Trust me, because when we write these things, some way, somehow they manifest. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so